Namaste. Welcome back again for another session on the Bhagavad Gita. Last Saturday, I talked about two manifestations of God or Brahman as a subject and objects and their interactions, which create the experience of life, and also two mindsets of the human beings. Because humans are the best in God's creation. At least we claim that. Animals may not agree with us, but that's what our claim, and there are substantial reasons for that. Because we are self-aware people. We are self-aware, and we are capable of choosing our actions based on ethical considerations, and we are capable of being happy. Of course, there is pain also, but we are capable of being happy, and we are capable of enjoying the beauty of nature, the whole universe. So the whole universe has been conspiring to create a human being who is self-aware, ethical, compassionate, and who can enjoy the beauty of the universe. That's why I said, though I have my own doubts, that human beings are the best in the creation. I hope we will be able to live up to that claim. We can live up to that claim, provided we try. That's our choice. We can degrade ourselves or upgrade us. So I was talking about all this, and also I took an interpretative freedom. Interpreting that asura sambat, asura mindset, the demonic mindset, I compared with the male aggression. That's a freedom I have taken. Because I find aggression is a characteristic of masculine characteristics. Aggression, domination, power, hegemony, colonization, exploitation. Whereas feminine qualities, feminine characteristic is compassion, nurturing, nourishing, accommodation, tolerance, fearlessness. The fearlessness of the soul, not of the physical fearlessness. Men can be physically fearless, but women are from the soul. Their strength is from the soul, their love. So I took that interpretative freedom to compare a male to a asura, and a female to a deva, sura. Because that's what we see all around us. So we also said we cannot ignore one for the other. I also said we need a harmony between the feminine and the masculine. That alone can save the world. Therefore, we must bring the feminine values, qualities into political decision making, economic decision making, into the corporate world, into government, into judiciary. Then alone the perfect balance can be attained and the world will be happier. for that. That was what we were discussing last presentation. And today I am going to talk about the 6 constituents of life and the last thought. Or what is the thought we have to entertain all the time? We should have a dominant thought in the mind. I'll be talking about it, all this. So when I said the 6 constituents of life, it required some further modification, that statement. It is not like the constituents of water. Water is constituted of oxygen and hydrogen. Or carbon dioxide is constituted of oxygen and carbon. Or according to the modern world view, we are constituted of hydrogen, oxygen, carbon and nitrogen, etc. I don't have that in my mind, because life is not constituted of things. Life is whole, complete. So when I said 6 constituents of life, what I meant was 6 insights about life. 6 insights. And not just an ordinary life, happy life. We all want to be happy beings. That's what we are striving for. So what are the 6 insights for leading a happy life? That's what we are going to discuss today. And what is the dominant thought that we should entertain all the time in evaluating our life's experiences, in processing our life's experiences. Because the quality of your life depends upon how you process information, data, sensations. If you bring a wrong mindset in interpreting things, then you will have all wrong conclusions. So what are the axioms you bring into life? What are the dominant thoughts that you bring into life? That determines the quality of your life. So Bhagavad Gita gives you transformative information, knowledge which can transform you. Scientific knowledge doesn't transform you. Of course, scientific knowledge can change your understanding of the world. But scientific knowledge doesn't change your understanding about yourself. Of course, earlier we thought the earth is flat. Now with the help of science, we know the earth is not that flat. Earlier we thought sun is rising and setting. Now with scientific knowledge, we know it is not like that. It is earth which is going round and round. So scientific knowledge gives you it changes your view of the world. But spiritual knowledge, the Bhagavad Gita, aim is to change your view about yourself. That is what I call transformative knowledge. It changes your understanding of you, who you are. At this point, our understanding is that we are a miserable wretch, useless person. I mean, that's your private thought. You may not show it outside, because you compare yourself with others. And when you encounter the world, you feel so tiny and useless. So that kind of a knowledge that I am a limited, miserable, useless, sickly person, that knowledge is not going to help you. It is not only going to help you, it will make others also miserable. So the modern scientific knowledge, even modern philosophy, which is based on the science, leads you to depression, cynicism, constant doubt, doubting everybody, doubting everything. Doubt is good. I am for that. But beyond a limit, it becomes pathological. Then you become sick. As Bhagavad Gita says, samshayatma vinashyati. Ajnascha ashradadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. There should be some fundamental convictions which cannot be doubted. Then alone you can transform your life. Do sadhana for that transformation. If you keep on doubting everything, there will be no sadhana. There is no transformation for it. So therefore, the Bhagavad Gita's insights, these 6 insights, is meant to transform your life, to make you a happy, bubblingly happy person. And with that mindset, when you look into the world also is beautiful. You have the leisure, self-confidence to change the world to whatever extent possible. Now you cannot change the world completely, because my program of changing the world is directly contradicting your program of changing the world. And creating a consensus is very difficult. That's why Mahatma Gandhi said, the change that you want to see in the world, be the change that you want to see in the world. You have to be the change. You should be the pioneer. You should begin to change. Then you may inspire others to change. Otherwise, everybody is trying to change everybody else and no change happens in the world. So what are these 6 insights that Bhagavad Gita gives to make us a happy individual? Right now, not after death. The end. Happiness after death, post-mortem death is not appealing to us. We have to be happy right now here, in this body, in this world. What we call embodied happiness. And the happiness is to be experienced while I am interacting with the world. Because life is a process of interaction. That's another challenge. I must be happy while I am talking to you, while I am interacting with you, while I am doing business with you, while I am creating teams and organizations, taking decisions, and facing upsets and failures. I must be happy. But I cannot compromise on that. I cannot put happiness at the end of the rainbow. It has to be right now. And I have to be happy. Then alone I can do something for the world. And I cannot wait for science to discover some new medicine that consuming which I can be happy. I have to be happy right now. That's my demand. That's your demand also. Everybody's demand. And which is possible. It's not a wild dream or anything. It is possible. So we are seeking a knowledge which can make us happy. And happiness is the end goal of all creatures. Whether you are a man or an animal or a tree or whatever. Anybody has some life in them, they all are seeking happiness. So these are 6 insights which can help you discover your happiness. That word discover is very important. Discover. Happiness is already there. You have to remove the cover. Or develop. Envelop and develop. Develop means what? Remove the cover. That's all what is there. So how do I lead a happy life? I hope you all share this sentiment, this need. I want to be a happy individual, and then as I interact with the world, I must be able to share my happiness. So there are 6 insights that Bhagavad Gita gives you, and Bhagavad Gita says, keep these insights in mind, which should be a dominant thought in your mind. with which you will be able to interpret all your experiences. That's what I titled this lecture, 6 Constituents of Life. Just to provoke you. The real meaning is 6 insights for a happy life. And then the power of the last thought, the dominant thought. How do you retain that thought? The back of your mind. Like in musical Indian concerts, you find the Shruti at the back of the... Then there is the music. So similarly, what should be the Shruti, the back, at the back of your mind? What should dominate your experiences? So these are the things we are going to discuss today. So Bhagavan says, Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter, end of the 7th chapter. So most of my data is from the 8th chapter for this lecture. At the end of the 7th chapter, Bhagavan says, Jara marana mokshaya mam ashritte yadandite. Those who look into Bhagavad Gita, what is your demand? What are you demanding from the study of Bhagavad Gita? You demand Jara marana mokshaya, freedom from fear. Fear of death, fear of old age, fear of disease, and fear of loneliness. These are the things we are all afraid of. Disease, old age, death, and loneliness. Abandonment, penury. These are all death only. If you lose your money, you are dead. Isn't it? So that's what I said. Fear of death, fear of loneliness, fear of disease, and fear of old age. Nobody wants to be old. Nobody wants to be old. I mean, you may say, I want to grow gracefully old and all that, but our innate desire is to be always young and healthy and full of companion and all that. That's what we all want. So, because of this fear of all this old age and all that, you come to Bhagavad Gita. You went to a psychologist, he couldn't help you because he himself is suffering from all this. You went to your parents, they couldn't help you, they themselves are suffering. So you come to Bhagavad Gita as a last resort. Because Bhagavad Gita has been sitting in your house all gathering dust. That is what your mother gave you lovingly when you were going to school or college. But it was sitting there. It is only at the end of the day when you are come to a cul-de-sac that you come to the Bhagavad Gita. Let me dust this, let me read this, open the page of Bhagavad Gita. So this is what you demand. And Bhagavad Gita will deliver. This is your demand with this seriousness. When you come to Bhagavad Gita, it can definitely help you. So what are these 6 insights that Bhagavad Gita is giving us for self-transformation, to have a different view, vision about yourself, not about the world. World can wait. So the first is, Bhagavan says you should know about Brahman. About Brahman. I am going to explain what it is. At least keep that word in your mind. About Brahman. The second Bhagavad Gita says you should know about Adhidevam Ishvara. Adhidevam Ishvara or Purusha. Adhidevam Ishvara Purusha. In the Veda you find Purusha Suktam, a hymn to Purusha. Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasrasha Sahasrapat, and so on and so forth. A Purusha, you should know. The third insight you should have is called karma, about the creation. What is creation? What is the essence of creation? We have different ideas. What is the essence of creation? What is the insight about that. So Brahma, Adhidevam, Ishvara or Purusha, then karma or creation, Visarga he says. Creation. We should need understanding about creation. Of course we know Big Bang and so on and so forth. But that knowledge doesn't transform you. It changes your vision about the world, not about you. So what is that true meaning of creation? Bhagavad Gita used the word karma or visarga. Then adibhudam, what is this material world? What is the nature of this material world which you are encountering? Material world includes mind and matter, time and space, which are encountered. What is its nature? What kind of attitude you should have towards that? Then adhiyajnam. Adhiyajna is the one in whose presence all activities take place. Adhiyajna. The presence of which all your activities take place. That also you should know. Then finally, adhyatmam. Adhyatma means your identity. Adhyatmam. So as a 6 things, Brahma, Adhidevam, Karma, Adibhudam, Adhyatmam and Adhiyatmam. Just some words I am throwing at you. And we should know what do these terms mean. And if you read the Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters, 700 slokas, this word Brahma comes again and again and again. For example, I will give you some examples. Brahma bhuyaya kalpade. Those who read Bhagavad Gita properly and meditate upon the insight given by Bhagavad Gita, they become Brahman, he says. Brahma bhuyaya kalpade. You still don't know what Brahman is, which I am going to explain. You become Brahman. Another sloka says, Brahmi sthiti. You come to abide in Brahman. When you read Bhagavad Gita, meditate on the slokas, you come to abide in Brahman. You sit in Brahman, let us say. At this point, where are you sitting? You're sitting on the chair or the sofa, isn't it? But when you study Bhagavad Gita and meditate on that, you realize you are not sitting on the sofa, you are not sitting on the chair, you are sitting on Brahman. Your body is sitting on the chair. And body is a minuscule speck in that oceanic consciousness, which is Brahman. We shift. The body sits on the chair, you are sitting on Brahma. Brahma sthiti, he says. Brahmi sthiti. Esha Brahmi sthiti partha naivam prapya vimukhyati. So you can abide in Brahman or Brahma sambadhyade, you attain Brahman. These are the promises given in Bhagavad Gita. And still you don't know what is Brahman, which I am going to explain. So Brahma sambadhyade, Brahma karma samadhi, and then you will see everything is inspired by Brahman. And when you know everything is inspired Brahman, samadhi, your mind becomes calm. Samadhi. Brahma karma samadhi. Samam Brahma. Another explanation about Brahman is Samam Brahma. Brahman is the same everywhere. Vidya Vinaya Sambanne Brahmane Dvihasteni Shanijaya Vashvabhagacha. Brahmana Samavartate. Brahmana is the same thing. Samam Pashyati. Now these days we are talking about equality, equity, equitable distribution of wealth. Everybody should have the same opportunity, if not the same outcome. Some people say not only same opportunity, same outcome also. Tax the rich and distribute the money, so everybody will become poor. Isn't it? taxing the rich and distribute whatever money is there. You can make everybody poor. Then everybody is happy. There is no comparison. So these kind of ideologies. Here he says, Samam Brahma. Brahman is the same everywhere. And in that Brahman there can be some disturbances. So Samam Brahma. Then Brahmavit, the knower of Brahman. All these are in Bhagavad Gita. Brahmavit Brahmaeva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman become Brahman. So I want this word to go into your bones and marrows. This word Brahman. Because our life is made up of words anyway. Remove all the word, you are like a piece of stone, I tell you. Words are very, very important. What are the words you use in life? If you call your children useless and barbarous and useless and donkeys and monkeys and all that, they'll grow up like that. But what you use, you have to be using very carefully. Words have got such an impact on us. Actually, our whole thought process is dictated by words. So you should be very careful what words you choose to describe yourself and describe others. So that this word should go deep into your mind, into your bones. It must become part of your muscular memory, which is very important. So Samam Brahma, Brahmavid Brahmaeva Bhavati. Brahma Yoga Yuktaha, one who is united with the Brahman. He become or she become a happy person. Brahma Bhutaha, Brahma Nirvanam Richadi. That word comes again and again in Bhagavad Gita. You attain the freedom of Brahman. You become as free as Brahman. Then Brahma Samsparsham, you feel the touch of Brahman. Samsparsham, you feel the touch of Brahman and you feel excited about that. You feel the soft whisper and touch of Brahman. As Gandhi used to say, I used to listen to the soft whisper of my soul, my Brahman. Whenever I am in a crisis, I don't want to give up hope. And in a crisis, when you don't give up hope, you will be able to listen to the whisper of Brahman. You can feel the touch of Brahman, a transformative touch of Brahman. So these are some of the words and phrases used in the Bhagavad Gita about Brahman. And there are many words used to refer to Brahman. Many words. They all mean the same thing. When you read Bhagavad Gita, don't get confused by different words used there. What are the words used to indicate Brahman? Om, Tad, Sad, Om Tas Sadidi Nirdesha, Brahmana Pura. Sometimes they use the word O. Tad, Sad, Tad means that. That which is your goal. Brahman is your goal. And then Sad, Brahman is the truth. And then Paramatma, another word. Paramatma yadi chapichade. Paramatma, the Supreme Self. Purushottamaha, the most exalted Self. Purushottama. This all with reference to your, these words refer to yourself, your essential nature. Paramatma, Vasudevaha, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavanmam Prabhadyade, Vasudevaha Sarvamidi. Oh, everything is Vasudeva. That word is used. Then Paravyaktam, the supremely subtle. Supremely subtle. Paravyaktam, that word is used. Ishvara, that word is used. Krishna, that word is used. Atra Yogeshwara Krishna. Krishna means one who attracts everything to the center. The Brahman attracts everything and holds everything together like a garland of flowers. Brahman. So Krishna, Bhagavan, Bhagahasya Astidi Bhagavan. Bhagavan means the master. Suhruda, that's another word used. Your good friend. Brahman is your good friend. Do you have any other friend? A friend in need is a friend indeed, isn't it? Do you have any other friend other than Brahman, he says? All others are just a reciprocal relationship. If you are good, they will be good to you. Sometimes you are bad, then also that person should stand by you. Then alone it's a good friend. So Brahman is your good friend. Suhrud. Then Satyam Shivam. Shiva means the most auspicious, supreme good, ultimate good. Then Anandam. Brahman is Anandam, joy, happiness. Anandam. Sundaram, the most beautiful. This is the ultimate standard of beauty. For everything there should be a standard, isn't it? Otherwise beauty is all relative beauty. Your children looks very beautiful, your wife looks very beautiful for you, but not for others. These are all relative beauties. Brahman is the ultimate beauty, compared with which everything else is relative beauty. Then Swatantram. Brahman is Swatantram, free. Nothing is forcing anything upon Brahman. Nobody can control, because there is no other. Therefore, Swatantram. Samam, we have already seen. Maunam Brahma, this is another beauty. Brahma with Mauni Bhavati. You never fret and fume and shout and scream and judge and criticize. You are always Mauni. You reserve your comments. You reserve your words. You reserve your judgment. What is our nature? Immediate comment, immediate criticism. Your blood pressure goes up when you see something. But Brahmavid is Mavini Bhavati, always silent. What's your opinion about that? Brahma will say, wait a minute. Let us close our eyes and look into ourselves before we make a judgment. Brahmavid is not going to judge things, because everything has got a right to exist in its own way, in its own unique way. Therefore, Mavanam Brahma, no judgment. No judgment. Meaning accommodation. Of course, this may look a little odd for you. If you cannot judge, you cannot take decisions. Brahma takes decision, but that's not a judgmental decision. It's an accommodative decision, a respectful decision. So, Maunam Brahma. Then he says, Samam Maunam Chaitanyam, consciousness. That's the standard definition of Brahma. Brahman is consciousness. As students of Bhagavad Gita, there is a big debate going on. What is primary, matter or consciousness? Some people say consciousness is a byproduct. Some people say matter is a byproduct of consciousness. And the jury is still out. There is no final decision about that. Therefore, we have to make a commitment now through an insight. We have to take a risk in organizing our life. You can say that everything is matter and I am made up of matter and there is nothing but matter. So the values that you draw from that kind of a belief is totally different from the values when you believe that fundamentally everything is consciousness. Or when you believe that my nature is happiness, you draw different set of values there. Or if you think everything is a survival of the fittest, then you become a social Darwinist. You make all kind of weapons of mass destruction because survival of the fittest. I must be strong. I must attack before the attack comes to me. See the value system. So therefore, in this debate, unsettled debate between whether consciousness is primary or matter is primary, I am taking a risk. I am making this commitment. Consciousness is primary. happiness is present, then I organize my life accordingly. So here we are voting for consciousness as the primary entity, not matter. Matter is only just a spanda or a vibration in consciousness. That's the position we are taking. It's a risk. But at the same time, we keep our mind open. If science gives some other satisfactory explanation, we will go for that. But we cannot wait for eternity to organize our life. I have to take decisions now. I cannot wait for science to bring the ultimate wisdom. So we have to take that risk so that we can organize our life, so that we can make our life a happy enterprise or experience. So that's the Brahma Bhudaha, Brahma Nirvanam. So Brahmam Sundaram, Swadandram, Samam, Maunam, Chaitanyam, Atma, another word used, Atma. Brahman is indicated by the experience of I. Whenever you say I, the meaning of that I, you always use the word I, isn't it? I did that, I didn't do that, I like it, I don't like it, I went there, I didn't go there. Isn't it? You cannot escape from I. That experience of I. The Brahman is indicated by that I experience. It's a subjective reality, not objective. It's a spiritual reality, not material. So, these are the words used in the Bhagavad Gita to indicate Brahman uses. Atma. And finally, Brahman is Atma, my own deeper self. Now there are some etymological meaning from the word Brahman. Etymologically, Brahman means Brahattuat Brahma. Why I spend a lot of time on this word Brahman? Because all the Upanishad says, Brahmavita apnodi param. Knower of Brahman become happy. It's a self-transformative knowledge. You radically change your vision about yourself. Brahmavita apnodi param. Satyam jnanam anandam Brahma. All these words are used. Prajnanam Brahma. So this knowledge of Brahman, continuous meditation upon Brahman is very, very important for us. So, what is the etymological meaning of Brahman? Brahattuad Brahma. Brahman is the big. Brahattuad Brahma, the big. When I say big, what comes to your mind? What is coming to your mind? A big mountain? Or a big mosquito? Isn't it? So, is Brahman's bigness is not a qualified bigness. It's unqualified bigness. Pure, sheer bigness. So, the definition of bigness is that which accommodates everything. So that way space should be the biggest, isn't it? But from the Bhagavad Gita standpoint, space also is accommodated in Brahman. And Brahman is consciousness. So consciousness accommodates space. Space is in consciousness. So you can say Brahman is the big. That's you are. That's what you are. That gives you a larger space, inner space to accommodate things. Accommodate different perspectives. Accommodate different views. Accommodate different people. You are the great accommodator. Even a one person coming violently with a weapon against you, you can flash a smile. Maybe that's why Jesus Christ said, if somebody slaps you on one cheek, show him the other cheek also. For that you need a lot of courage. Because when you have that attitude, the other person dare not or have no need to slap you. Have no need. Because in that, you transform that person who comes violently against you. Is transformed when you show the other cheek. Otherwise, we will have to build these weapons of mass destruction because strategic deterrence and whatnot. But with this attitude, you can accommodate. So Brahman is the great accommodator. And this accommodating mindset, you not only transform yourself, you transform the others. So that is one definition of Brahman, the all accommodating. The second definition of Brahman is very interesting. That which expands and contracts, Vardhanat Brahma. That which expands, something like a Big Bang theory, Big Bang and Big Crunch. Brahman is beyond a time-space, a point of singularity. It expands, it contracts, Srishti, Siddhi, Lime, etc. The Brahman is that which expands. And so the psychological message from this vision is you are able to expand and contract. Wherever you want to be assertive, you can be assertive. Wherever you want to be in the background, you can be in the background. That ability, that felicity to assert, to step back, step aside, and let others come forth. That ability you gain by knowing your nature is Brahman. So, another etymological meaning is that it says the Brahman is Vruddhatamatvad Brahma. Brahman is the most ancient. Brahman is the great grandparent of everyone. The fundamental cause, for which there is no further cause. So that's the Vruddhatamatva Brahma, the first cause, from which everything emanates. So these are the three etymological meaning of Brahman. So we should have this understanding. And this Brahman, I am, Aham Asmi, I am this. That should be your fundamental faith. If you are a student of Bhagavad Gita, somebody asks you, who are you? You can say Mr. So-and-so, PhD and all that. That is only just a memory. Few brain cells. That brain cells can waste away, and then what are you left with? So your essential nature is Brahman. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. That is how Bhagavad Gita describes Aksharam, the changeless, Brahma, Paramam, the supreme. That is the ultimate ground of everything. And you have to abide there. Don't attach with the body. Body is only a tool in your hand. The world is a playground for you. But you are Brahman. That understanding we must carry all the time. But that's not enough. That understanding is not enough. You have to add on few more insights. What is the other insight? This Brahman itself has become the world. That is another understanding. Ishvara or Adhidevam. Adhideva is a very interesting concept. Adhideva means Brahman plus Maya, Ishvara. So this Brahman has a need to self-realize, which is very interesting. It has to fully understand itself with all the details, with all the flourish. Isn't it? Don't you look into the mirror every day in the morning? Don't you? And don't you spend the time? Why? You want to know yourself. How are you aging? How many lines on your face? How many grey on your hair? And what's happening? How many pimples on your face? And all that. How many teeth are missed missing, all those things you want to know. You want to know yourself. That full understanding of Brahman, that is Brahman's desire. So kamayada. So Brahman has got a desire. What is the desire? Bhavusyam prajayeti. May I discover my full splendor, my full possibility. Like a seed interacting with the soil discovers its full potential. Similarly, so from that standpoint, desire is not bad. Desire, there are two types of desire. I have already discussed that. Desire to grab. Other is desire to expand, to give, to share. For self-discovery, self-exploration, self-expression. The Brahman has such a desire. Therefore, if you have a desire, don't just dismiss it. Don't just suppress it. That desire is a need to explore and express your potential by interacting with the world. The desire per se is not bad. A desire which comes from your understanding, your essential nature is a positive desire. That's why Bhagavan says, Dharma viruddho bhudeshu kamosmi bharatarshava. I am desire which is not harmful to the other. An altruistic desire. Self-expressive desire. So that's called the Srishti. Or so Brahman, and then with the Maya, Brahman becomes Ishvara. Ishvara is a very interesting concept. He says, Brahmashraya Maya. Maya means this creative potential in Brahman. And when you become Ishvara, what happened? Sishtisthiti layam bhavadi. Then you become the creator, the sustainer. When the life of the creation is over, he takes the creation into himself and then again creates further. The Sishtisthiti laya karta. As a result of that, this Brahman becomes Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, Sarvavyapi, omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. These words. And not only that, he becomes the Sarva Kalyana Guna Sampannaha, the repository of all noble values, qualities, like compassion, like protection, nourishment. So that's another insight we must have. This Brahman, which is our essential nature, is the creator of the world. Not only the creator, sustainer, protector, and the source of all noble values, like compassion, love, nurturing, is the source of all values. It is not the material world, it is the spiritual world, which is the source of all values. The first insight is, Aham Brahmasmi. Second insight is, from this fullness, when you entertain desire, you create all noble things. Best thing comes out of you. Whatever you touch turns gold. With this understanding, by happiness is my nature, then all your desires will be contributing to the well-being of the world. The best things, best thoughts, best actions comes to you, he says. So therefore, that is the second insight we must have. You become the repository of all good values. Non-negative values can come out. So that is the second insight you must have. And the third insight is, so from this desire comes the universe. Karma. Krishna says, karma. Bhuda bhavod bhavagaraha Visargaha karma samhidaha. Karma is this visarga, the self-expression out of this inner joy. Then you create things. Otherwise you only destroy things. All your creation will be only a destructive enterprise. Create misery, unhappiness. You are very creative. But that creation doesn't add to the joy of the world. But if you are creative, if your desires spring from the understanding that your nature is happiness, the whole world will be beautiful for you. So that's the kind of karma Bhagavan talks about. Bhuta bhavodbhavakaraha visargaha karma samhidaha. Out of this inner fullness, Brahman becomes the whole world. So surupam aparityajya, he becomes the whole world. Without giving up its essential nature, Brahman appears as the one. Meaning, whatever you do will have the imprimatur, the signature of our inner joy and happiness. That's the third insight we must have. So what was the first one? Aham Brahmasmi. My nature is Brahman. What is the second insight? Then you entertain desire, and that desire becomes very creative desire. You become Ishvara. You become the master of your life. Whatever you touch turns gold. All that you produce or create adds and contributes to the well-being of the world. That's the third insight, karma. And the fourth insight is adibodham. What is the world that you see around you? The world is constantly changing. That's a very important insight. Nothing is fixed in this world. The world is constantly changing. And that changing nature of the world is important for you to explore your inner potential. Is it today we are celebrating Ganesha Chaturthi? Isn't it? Ganesha is supposed to be the god who removes obstacles and creates obstacles. Vighna karta, vighna harta cha. He creates obstacles and removes obstacles. Why should he create obstacles? He creates obstacles so that you can discover your potential. If there is no obstacle, then you become a lazy person. Obstacles are very important. So Ganesha puts an obstacle so that you can jump over that. Then you know you can jump. Ganesha puts a stone there so you can lift it and develop your muscles and biceps. So Ganesha always put obstacles so that you can invoke your inner power and discover who you are. Thus he becomes the Vighna Harta. Thus he removes the Vighnas by invoking your potential. Isn't it? A dam across the river. He put a dam across the river, an obstacle. Then you can collect the water, create a reservoir and control flood and cultivate huge tracts of land. You can have gardens and generate electricity by putting an obstacle. Suppose there is no obstacle across the river, then nothing will happen. So Ganesha is Vighna Karta. By putting the Vighnas, obstacles, you discover your potential. Thus, the world is a constant change. That is the law of the world. Bhuta means that which appears and disappears. That which has a boundary. That's the nature of the world. And the world is necessary for you to explore and express your potential. So therefore, a spiritual person wouldn't run away from the world. I have told it in the very beginning. The world is an opportunity for you. Relationship is an opportunity for you. Obstacles are an opportunity for you. to explore yourself. So that is Adibhudam Sharo Bhavaha. This world is constant change. So don't fret about that. Don't fume about that. Things have to change so that you can discover who you are. Otherwise, we will be living in all the time in memory. If there is no challenge, then you are lazy. You operate from memory. Because same thing all the time. Old knowledge is enough. No insight is necessary. Adibhudam Sharo Bhavaha. Bhagavan says, this material world is a constant change. Accept it. Embrace it. Don't fight against it. When you fight against it, you lose an opportunity. When you accept it, embrace it, move along with that. That's why there is one Bhagavad Gita statement, Chare Vedi, Chare Vedi. Keep moving. Do things in your own way, in a different way. Don't do the same thing, the same old way. Which is very, very important, he says. So, Adibhudam Sharo Bhavaha. Now, Adhyatmam. This is very interesting. Adhyatma means your present identity. This is called Adhyatma. This is called Svabhava. Brahman's entry into the mind. When Brahman enters into the mind as a reflection, that is called Adhyatma. So Adhyatma is conditioned by your body-mind complex. It's something like your image in the mirror. Adhyatma, your present identity, is like your image in the mirror. Brahman's image in the mirror of the mind. So the image that falls in the mirror is determined by the quality of the mirror, isn't it? Mirror is dirty, your image will be dirty. Mirror is concave, your image will be larger. Convex, image will be smaller. Broken, your image will be broken. So Brahman's entry into you, which is your present identity, is determined by the quality of the mind, the quality of the combination of the gunas. So even that karta, bhokta, the doer, enjoyer, producer, enjoyer in you also is Brahman, you say. It's not something different. But we all look different because of the difference in the quality of the mind, the quality of the combination of gunas. That is called Adhyatma. So who are you again? You are again Brahman. As a doer enjoyer, you are Brahman. As your essential nature Sarupa, you are Brahman. You are the creator. And finally, Adhyajna. Adhyajna means all the activities that you do is presided over by Brahman. Brahman is Adhyajna, the presiding deity, in whose presence all activities happen. And it is the same Brahman entered into you, become the enjoyer of the fruits of your activities. That also is Brahman. See, the Adhyajna. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate satarachara. Otherwise, nothing can happen. So as an enjoyer, as a doer, you are still experiencing the Brahman. So these are the 6 insights that we have to cultivate for self-transformation. I repeat once again, the Brahman is your nature, that all-inclusive consciousness is your nature, and from there when you entertain a desire, you become a creative person, Ishvara. Ishvara is in you. Ishvara. Then the material world is created. Then the Brahman enters into you as enjoyer and doer of your activities. Then you interact with the world to experience your inner potential. And then the same Brahman in you, conditioned by your mind, become the enjoyer and doer of things. So from this vision, is there anything other than Brahman is the question? That's why finally, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. That understanding we get. This is the spiritual insight about your life and your being in the world. And if you can keep this thought all the time, never forget this. Never. This is what you call, Bhagavan says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajatyante kalevaram tam tamevedi kaundeya sada tadbhava bhavita. So whatever understanding you have about yourself, if you think you are a worm, you become a worm. If you think you are a plant, you become a plant. If you think you are Brahman, you are Brahman. That's the power of thought. So this thought has to be influenced by your understanding, the knowledge, jnana. Aham brahmasmi iti jnana is very, very important. Some people say, if I simply think aham brahmasmi, will I become Brahman? That way, if I think I am a rich person, very, very wealthy person, do you become wealthy? No, you won't. Because you are not wealthy, that is the truth. But by thinking I am Brahman, will you become Brahman? Yes. Why? You are Brahman. If you are not Brahman, merely thinking I am Brahman is not going to help. To put it in a very simple way, by thinking I am happy, will you become happy? Yes. Why? Your nature is happy. So Brahman happiness is not something to be gained in the future. It is something to be discovered right now here. It is your nature. So that thought, if you bring that thought continuously against all other opinions, because people may say, no, you are not happy, because they have an investment in making you unhappy so they can sell all your products to you. You are unhappy. If you use this product, you will be happy. It's a corporate agenda, I tell you. It's a government agenda, so they can control you. When you are happy, no corporate can sell all their spurious products to you and pollute the nature, pollute your body, pollute your mind. If you are happy, no government can control you because you are fearless. You don't need anything from outside to be a happy person. So your ultimate freedom, ultimate happiness depends upon this thought. Aham brahmasmi. If you have that thought, every moment of your life will be a happy experience. And hence Bhagavan says, Yam yam vabhismaran bhavam tajatyande kalevara tam tam eva edid kaundeya sada tatbhava bhavitaha. And finally, Bhagavan says, Tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhya cha. Therefore, remember this truth, that your nature is Brahman. You are Ishvara. You can interact with the world. You create your world. Who else creates your world? You create it. If you are an unhappy person, you create an unhappy world around you. If you are a happy person, you create a happy world around you. Everything is happy. So, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. Remember this truth and then engage in the world. So some people say the Bhagavad Gita wants you to fight all the time. Here yuddha does not mean just fighting. Yuddha means engage in the world. And this is a very important mantra for you. Engage all the time. Engage with your enemy also. Engage with your friend, engage with your enemy, don't run away. Because all these are opportunities for you. Today's enemy can be tomorrow's friend, today's friend can be tomorrow's enemy. So engage. Keep the conversation going with this understanding. Aham Brahmasmi. With that understanding, keep the conversation going. Keep engaging. And if not today, tomorrow, you will find your investment is worth it. It will not go waste. And you can make the whole world as your friend. So thus, tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. I'll be taking up this theme. Does Bhagavad Gita advocate violence? That's a big point of discussion these days. You know, like Vendi Doniger, those philosophers, they say that Bhagavad Gita advocates violence. I disagree with that, which I'll explain to you later. Maybe the last lecture will be on that. Does Bhagavad Gita advocate violence? What is violence? What is the major thrust of Bhagavad Gita teaching? So have this understanding. My nature is Brahman, my nature is happiness. With that understanding, relate to the world and engage in the world. So keep engaging, keep the conversation going. And when you do that, not only you discover you are Brahman, the whole world is a Brahman project. That is, so these 6 insights are very, very important. So repeat, what are the 6 insights? One is about Brahman, second is Ishvara, third is Srishti or Karma, fourth is Adhyajna, in whose presence all these activities take place, and who is enjoying in you. Who is enjoying? The Brahman, same Brahman is enjoying in you. There is nobody else to enjoy. He is enjoying himself or itself. This is the vision of oneness that we have to cultivate. Who is enjoying? Who is the doer in you? Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. That attitude is very, very important and significant and leading a fulfilling life. So keep engaging, keep the conversation going. Don't simply say, "Is my enemy, is my friend." All are your friends or all are your enemies at different points of time. It all depends upon your mindset. What kind of mindset, what kind of individual you bring into interaction with the world. So thus, Jara Marana Mokshaya. You will be free from the fear of old age, death, disease, and loneliness. That's for today. And so read that 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and the last 2 slokas of 7th chapter and 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and you will see all these are given there. So do some homework also. So these are said there. So thank you very much. And next talk will be on meditation as a way of living. I have been talking on meditation every Sunday, but next time I will talk on the meditation, explain the Bhagavad Gita. We won't be meditating, but we will try to understand what is Bhagavad Gita's insight on meditation. What do you expect from meditation? What is meditation? On the mat meditation, off the mat meditation. What kind of meditation? Meditation can be a continuous experience? Or is it just a 1 hour experience? So all those things we will be talking next Saturday. And this is from the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I'll be talking about it. So tomorrow we'll see again. Thank you very much.